But I want to share with you some of the things that we did in the early 70s into the late 70s. In the 60s, we were developing our political organization. And prior to that, our founders and the old men, the ever so resilient, uncompromising grandfathers that we have. And I have in this assembly right here an old chief who was probably one of the people I've known the longest time, Chief Urban Star, who was also a distant relative of mine, whose father and my father, who worked with John Tutusis and the many elders who began the organization of the Union of Saskatchewan Chiefs, eventually ending up the Federation of Saskatchewan Indians. And it became eventually the Federation of Saskatchewan Indian Chiefs in 1982. And with this, there was a long struggle to come to where we are. And the thing we wanted to always never forget is who we were. Yes, the treaties are important, they're absolutely important. They wouldn't be so if we didn't try to maintain who we were. If we weren't so preoccupied by the zealousness of our old people, our Muslims say, don't forget who you are. You will not be anything on this earth, and you have no value to yourself and anybody if you don't know who you are. And so, when we began the organization, and I was there in 1954, when the old people were gathering here and there, reminding us of what they were and who they were, and why they were fighting. We have been here a long, long time. We have been a strong political organization a long, long time. And this organization that we're trying to put together is resting on the foundation of this idea of peaceful coexistence with other nations. This organization was put together on the foundation of the Cree Nakota Sato Ojibwe people. And I don't think anybody ever really gave this much thought. Certainly I did, But when the old people like old Lawrence Thompson and my grandfather, and my uncle old Bill Musqua, and my old Thomas Stronghold, and then many old people like old Charlie Fable, who spoke about these things, and old Mr. Star Blanket is known. And these people remembered that day when they used to live this way, when they governed themselves this way. If we want to hang on and protect what we have, we must know this, that we are strong today, not because it's a fluke of time. Yes, it is not a fluke. It has come at the hard-won work of these old people. Some 300 years ago, these three nations came together, and they put together an organization here that they would use to help each other to maintain their rights to the land. And they occupied that land, and they occupied it very well. And they even settled the boundaries of where they belonged. The Nakota from the Fort Capel Valley, South Saskatchewan, south, between the Most Mountains and Cypress Mountains. This is what we believe their territory were, and we never crossed that. And if you look at where these Cree Sato Ojibwe people are, you'll find them on this side of those valleys. That's evidence right there. And then from that area on, the York Lakes and into the Quill Lake area, east to the mountains, the Duck Mountain areas, and into the Porcupine Forest, into the middle of the forests the forest that we see over here north, halfway to the swamps. From there on, the Woodlands Cree have their territories all the way to the tundra, and all the way to the forest lines of Ontario. These were the boundaries, and we never exercised any other way but caution and obedience to the laws of our interaction. That's the story of these old people. And then the Crees from this on all the way to the mountains, all the way to the Rocky Mountains. That was their territory. These are the stories they told us. And when I look at the map, it was a humongous territory. And I want to talk about that government that was in place, agreed upon to maintain to maintain their sovereign occupation of this land. Because that's what they did. And they even have a word for this in Solon Ojibwe. Probably the Crees have the same. I'm trying to find out, and I think it means the same, but I know we call sovereignty. We call Manitou was. Manitou was. That's sovereignty. So we do have a word that says sovereignty. It's called Manitou was. The warmth of God, the power of God surrounding our people, because we have been created with that. We have been put here on this earth. We have descended spiritually onto this earth to become the species called man. It's pretty nice. It sounds almost like Star Wars. But I wanted to spend a little time on that. And probably if you see Urban Star here somewhere, he probably knows this better than I do, because he's probably heard it 1,000 times. So I have a colleague in what I'm talking about here. I feel comfortable in that.